It's so quiet.
Yes, man, quiet.
You said you just messed it up.
Nah. Said it is mad quiet.
It's like I don't really know what to expect, really. I'm excited.
Brian, what's up? 5 more minutes or what?
Yeah, 30 more seconds.
Okay.
Who's from Columbus?
CO.
Oh, okay. So you know about Armand Wake Up?
Yeah, that's my dude.
Yeah, that dude is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like super tall too.
Yeah.
He's like seven something.
Man.
I went to the studio because we record with the same guy, and his mic was like towering over me when I first came in there. You can adjust that if you want to. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to, brother, because this is like touching the ceiling almost. I'm only like 5'8".
That's funny.
Yeah, he's a cool guy though. Yeah, Columbus has a lot of talented Christian rappers, man. So I'm amongst a lot of good people, man.
Are you, let's see, Columbus, Ohio. What's, and there was some, I'm trying to remember their name. It was a crew out of Columbus, Ohio. Y'all don't really want it. What y'all wanna do? They were, what's their name? They were like, like Columbus is like big artists for a minute. What was it? Is Copyright from Columbus, Ohio? Do you know Copyright? You hit the Copyright?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I want to say Copyright's from Columbus, Ohio. Do you know DJ Manuel?
DJ Manuel. I don't think I do.
Okay. No worries. These are like kind of underground cats.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fairly new, man. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm fairly old, so. Okay, so it looks like
we'll go ahead and begin. I don't know who this Akandi is. Oh, I think someone just jumped on. All right. I'm Brian with the Legacy Conference, and this is our attempt to try to just invest in you guys. And so thank you for your submissions. Thank you for joining in. So this will be the first of 4 Google Hangouts over the next 4 weeks. Natalie Lauren will lead one. Adam Thomason with Collision will lead one. And who am I forgetting right now? Forgetting somebody. Jason will lead the other. So, so Thomas is going to lead tonight, and hopefully it's beneficial for you guys tonight and for the next 3 weeks as well. So, hopefully you guys benefit from this. Again, our heart is that you guys will be poured into over this. So let me open us in a word of prayer. Then, Father, Lord God, I pray that you, God, would not just raise up artists, Lord God, but you'd raise up servants of yours, Lord. And Father, that you would equip us for your ministry, Lord God. So minister through Thomas, Lord God, what you have taught him over the years. Lord God, I pray, Lord God, that it would again bless our souls. In Jesus' name pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Thomas, is yours.
Brian, is this live?
You know what? I'm trying to figure out how to invite people to watch without having them join. So
Okay.
I'm having to kick this one person off right now. Sorry, Conde.
Oh, so Gandhi was like just peeing in.
Yeah, I'll try to figure this out while you guys.
Okay. Okay. So guys, it's a privilege to connect with you guys, and yeah, like I said earlier, I was really impressed with the content and the delivery and the quality. In my opinion, you know, on everybody's opinion, we kind of took a vote as to the folks that we felt kind of floated to the top, and you guys were among all those. So, yeah, incredibly gifted, and I'm going to move forward with some of this stuff with the presupposition that you guys are creating content, writing music from a biblical worldview, and for the chief aim to make Christ known, right? And so all those things that I'm going to be talking about in terms of marketing and resources and things like that will really serve you no benefit unless, well, first and foremost, the Lord is, you know, in it and makes your path accessible. The Lord is sovereign over all those things, including our efforts and our ministries, and He's the one that gives ministry and gives ministry success. And so these are some simple principles that I think might serve you and benefit you well as you pursue ministry and music. So yeah, all that to say, I'm really hopeful that you guys will take some of these things, but I'm more hopeful that you guys will establish a biblical fidelity in your approach to music. There's far too many rappers who talk about meaningless things and nonsense, and so my hope is that you guys, some of the new generation raising up for the glory of God. So, yeah. When Brian asked me to kind of do this class with you guys, one of the things that I felt like I could do that would be beneficial is helping you guys to understand marketing yourself with a low budget or low resources. And so I want to talk through some areas where this might be free services might be useful for you. I do want to talk through, if you're going to spend money, where I think it would be important for you guys to spend that money. I want to talk to you guys about creating a product and then how to market that product. I want to talk a little bit about your social capital. And I want to talk about touring and how all of these things kind of come together to help sustainable artistry, if that makes any sense. So the first thing I want to dive into is actually the product. How many of you guys are actually recording in a studio?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
1, 2. Lexi, are you in a studio, or are you still just figuring that out?
No, I'm not in the studio.
Okay. And listen, before I even jump into this stuff, like, I'm not, whatever stage you are at, I don't look down upon that. I think everybody starts in unique places, and so that where you're at in terms of how much you've done in terms of your career is not indicative of how talented you are or how professional you are. That, to me, has to do with just providence, and some folks just are able to connect things quicker than other people. So don't be embarrassed if I ask questions and you guys are like, no, I'm not really doing that yet. So I'm not, it doesn't weigh on me at all. So here's the thing. If you guys are not in the studio yet, my advice would be, and this is where the spending money principle comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a little bit of money to invest in yourself, where I'm going to always tell you to invest your money is going to be in the creating of your product, right? So let's say you have you know, $300, right? Let's say $300. And if you don't have $300 to invest in your music, my advice is don't put out music. Don't put out mixtapes. I mean, some people would disagree with me, but don't put out mixtapes. Don't put out anything. Hustle till you could get $300, right? $300 to $500, and begin to find folks within your community that you can actually record with. Doesn't mean you have to record in a super high-end professional recording studio, but the things that I think you need to focus on is at least a decent studio where folks can record you and you don't have to, like, you know, you're not using the USB microphone and you hitting control record on your laptop, and all these things will actually work against you in the curating of a Chad Horton just jumped into this call.
It's good, Chad.
What's up?
Wow, just like that. Well, anyway, so all of that stuff is, I think, the beginning stages of establishing high quality, like a high quality product. So if you're not in the studio yet, then I would say wait to release anything, and just let that cook. Work on developing your craft. Work on connecting with producers. Establish relationships with producers in your community. All those things are important, but until you can secure a little bit of revenue to get into the studio, I'm of the opinion that you ought not start recording, right? Because ultimately, all of these things that I'll communicate with you in terms of marketing strategies will not serve you well if the quality of your product is not good, right? So it's like you have one shot to put your product on display for the world to see, or at least for your immediate context to see. And if you don't come correct, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to rebuild your reputation than it is to just come out of the gate swinging, right? So the areas in which you need to start in thinking about investment, because this is a career, right? This is what you want to do vocationally. I'm assuming you guys are in this chat because you want to do this vocationally. This is something that you want to pursue seriously. You obviously have the talent. You would have not made the cut if there was no talent. So you have to sort of think of yourself as an entrepreneur in a sense, right? And so if you're not willing to make an investment in yourself, why would other people be willing to make an investment to purchase your product, right? So those are just some principles that I think are essential for you to live off of, right? So you want to be in the studio. You want to have at least a decent recording. It doesn't have to be super amazing. It doesn't have to be like, I'm trying to record in the same studio that all these other cats are recording at because that's the highest quality in my city. It doesn't have to be that good, right? It just has to be decent. Because if you don't have decent vocal presence, then your mixing is not going to be good, right? A person can only mix a record as good as the vocals are recorded, right? So that has to be your primary bend. Mixing a record is essential for you guys, right? So you record this product. Don't put it out yet until you can get that product mixed, right? And then the final stage of that is mastering a project, right? So recording, mixing, and mastering. This is really the primary financial investment that you need to make, right? Everything else you can do can be parlayed with very little money, very little resources, and just some strategic maneuvering, right? So y'all got that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recording, mixing, and mastering. That is, you just have to do it, right? You just have to do it, right? So don't spend your money on buying a laptop to recording GarageBand. Don't spend your money on a USB microphone. All those things, in my opinion, are a waste of money, right? It's just a waste because you can't produce the quality that you need, using GarageBand and recording on a USB mic. It's just just not possible, right? If you want to do it at a level that is vocational, right? So you
Can I
have
ask a question?
yes, yeah. Feel free at any point to kind of interject and ask me questions. You guys have my time, so.
I hear you saying a lot about like don't you don't have to go to the best studio in town. You can go to, I guess, enough to get decent quality. I was wondering if you had any technical expertise for what would be considered decent quality. I record in a home studio, I guess, that I invested money in for soundproofing. I have a $400 mic. I record in Pro Tools. I have all sorts of, I guess, other sound
You're
programs.
good. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the distinction I'm making is not every artist understands like soundproofing, good mic, compressor, amps, all that. They just don't get it. Preamps, things of that nature. They're just kind of like, well, I'll go to Guitar Center and I can get this, USB microphone and I'll be good. And that really just doesn't do it, So if you have like a home studio, that's a studio, right? That's a studio. But those things need to have like at least a decent mic. You need to be up in the $300 to $400 range for a microphone so that it has some dynamic range to the microphone. You need to be using a preamp. You need to make sure that when you are recording, you're getting a decent level, right? So in Pro Tools, you want to make sure you're not getting this small little level, because when you boost that gain up, all you're going to get is ambient noise, right? You're going to amplify noise rather than your vocals, right? So home studio is fine, right? So you got a homeboy that has a decent mic, is rocking Pro Tools or Logic or whatever, Ableton, has a decent mic and a good preamp. That is what I'm talking about, right? It doesn't have to be, a place where you're spending $100 an hour, $60 an hour, right? It can be a home studio. The distinction I'm trying to make is don't go super cheap, because that impacts your brand, right? You come out of the gate like, I don't care how dope of an MC you are. You come out of the gate with a like bunk product, it's going to reflect negatively on you, And so you got to step up your game. And so that is the only area where I'm telling you that you need to make a fiscal investment. And until you're at a place where you're like ready to start investing in yourself, you ought to just let that, practice, write more raps, connect with producers in your community, but don't try to put out a product unless it's at least at a level beyond, a USB microphone and, GarageBand. Okay, so those three things, I'm like, that's where you need to spend your money. Okay, areas in which I think you guys can get away with, right? I don't necessarily think y'all have to have the best producers making beats for you guys. That's just my opinion, right? I think that I think producers are hungry to connect with good rappers, right? So if you're a good rapper, I think you're gonna have a whole bunch of producers who are gonna say, "Yo, let's do something," right? Especially if you're connected in your city with rappers, and I'm sure you guys have all experienced that, right? If you're active in your scene and you're doing music, you're just gonna have folks that are willing to share beats with you, right? And so you can parlay relationships with producers, and you can say, "Hey, man, look, I'm gonna produce this record, and as I generate revenue from this record, I'd be more than happy to share the profits with the producers," right? So you pay these producers on the back end. A lot of folks will do that, And then if you feel compelled to, and you have the money, if you have the money for it, solicit producers, right? But don't spend all your money on producers. Rather, spend that money on mixing and recording, because I think more people are concerned with the quality of your raps than they are the beats, right? And you have to think about this first project as an introductory experience, right? So the era that I come from was like the demo era, right? So you'd record a demo, you would spend all this money working on a 3-song demo, and you try to get it in the hands of other folks and say, "Yo, just listen to my demo, and if you love it, then put me on." That era, in my opinion, doesn't exist anymore, right? So you just gotta show and prove, So I think you can find producers that would be willing to take money on the back end, or find producers who'd be willing to just kind of partner with you and do a collaborative project in hopes that as you grow in influence, they grow in influence with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are how many of you guys are having a difficult time connecting with producers?
I'm having a difficult time, period. Like, I do everything on my own because people are not really open to me, so.
Okay. And you're in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so that's a unique challenge, right? So that just means, like, for you, are you doing anything to, like, help build up a bank for you in terms of putting out professional quality, or are you still just kind of like, well, I'll get to it when I get to it, and that's fine if you are. Just trying to get.
No, I've kind of met up with this sponsorship team, and we're working on getting some stuff out for me. But it's recent. It's recently happened.
So, are you connected with the community out there?
The hip hop community, Christian hip hop community? Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, good. I know there's a lot of folks out there, you know.
It is. That's the tricky part.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can talk through that too, Lexi, like in terms of helping you to connect with some people as well that are in your city. And I might be able to help you to establish some relationships with some folks that might be able to serve you well. Okay? So I want to make that also available to you.
Okay.
But yeah, so as you think about, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have my issue is that if I find maybe a producer that I like over the internet and I lease a beat, I find this beat on everyone else's album because it's only leased. We don't have the funds to buy it full out, and so I dealt with that on my recent project.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it took away from the project, and I didn't actually hear the beats until after I put the project out.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my issues.
Yeah, that's a unique challenge. But so again, I think that what you want to do. So Milton.
Yes.
That's your real name?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry for the tardiness. I've been trying.
No, all good. All good. All good. What city are you from, Milton?
Chicago.
Okay. So here's the thing that I would suggest when I talk about a product, and I should have prefaced this in the beginning. I think that you want to establish a product that is like an introductory product, right? So you don't need to worry about a bunch of other dudes using the same beat. You just have to show and prove on that beat, right?
Okay.
Right? You just got to make sure that out of all the folks that have licensed that beat or leased that beat, that you show and prove on that, right? So that everybody is like, Milton bodied that one, right?
No doubt.
Right? And I think that you guys are in this chat right now because you all have the ability to do that, right? And so you have to, in a sense, and I say this, and I don't mean to I'm not trying to say you have to be super arrogant. I'm talking about excellence, right? I think that those things are non-issues, right? You want to establish some stuff so that you can get some momentum and you can start establishing yourself so that you can begin doing shows, you can begin to generate data, you can start giving stuff away for free in terms of building your brand identity. Then you're able to generate some money, and now you can come out with a bigger, better project that you actually have some resources to create, right? So what I'm talking about is like a stepping stone for y'all, right?
Right.
Make a project, and that project doesn't have to be 13 to 18 songs, right? That project can be 6 songs. It can be an EP. Just make sure that is high quality, right? And invest the time and energy and perhaps the necessary monies to do that, right? So finding producers should not be a challenge, and we can talk through later how that might be less of a challenge if we kind of develop a strategy for that, right? So assuming that you've invested a little bit of time in studio, you've recorded a 3 to 6 song EP or whatever, I'm always of the mindset that if you're going to create it, and this is just unique to my philosophy, I think you should give it away, right? I think a lot of times folks say to themselves, well, I spent all this money. Man, I spent like 2 G's on this project. I got to make that 2 G's back, right? But the way that I view it is like, if you're going to spend 2 G's, that 2 G's is basically your 2 G's of marketing money, right?
Yeah.
You created an EP to market yourself, right? Because if you try to slang that record to a bunch of people who don't know who you are, and you've not yet had enough time to show and prove and built a brand for yourself and built a following for yourself, nobody's going to buy that. You're going to end up spending money on purchasing 500 CDs. You're never going to sell those. They're going to sit in your garage, right, for forever, right? That's just the reality, right? And I'm only saying that because that's stuff that I've had to learn on my own, right? So what you want to do is give that mug away for free, right? Now, when I say free, I mean free in terms of don't charge money for it, right? But what you want to do is give it away for free in exchange for data, okay? Data is your best friend. Data is your best friend. Y'all got that?
Yep.
What is data?
Email.
It's your best friend. I'll explain what data is.
Oh, okay.
Data is email, zip code, right? Any information that you can get from your consumers that tell you where they're at, right? So, Humble Beast, the whole sustainable model of Humble Beast works on data, right? We are radically generous. Sometimes we spend $20,000 on a record that we give away, right?
Sorry, excuse me.
No worries. We spend a lot of money on some of these records, right? And we still give it away for free, but we collect data, right? Because data helps us stay connected. Data helps you stay plugged in with your fan base. Data helps you communicate. Data helps you tour. Data helps you market, merchandising. All that. How many of y'all got a Humble Beast e-newsletter? Have you ever received the e-newsletter?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's data, right? So you can, for free, set up an account at MailChimp, right? MailChimp is an email client, right? So what MailChimp does is it collects data, and I think it's free for like 500 people, right? Once you get beyond 500 people, then you're going to have to start paying like $20 a month or something like that. But it's going to take you a little bit to get to 500 people. You have 500 people that you're plugged in with. Now you can solicit their support. Now you can ask them to come to shows. Now you can keep them in the loop with what you're doing. You can mobilize these people in a sense to become a street team for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is your top level marketing, right? Everything else that you do, right? You pay for ads. You try to get like ads on various different hip hop websites. To me, all that other stuff is trivial. Your greatest level of
Hello?
I'm still here. Did he freeze?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Can't hear you, Thomas.
Yeah, he's still
He
frozen.
going in though. Look.
Stop!
He going in. Data. I'm talking data. We need more data. More data.
What about the other guy? What about Brian?
We can hear you.
Yeah, let me text him.
Let him know, bro.
What about now?
Oh, there you go.
I was going hard.
He was just froze like this. He was just froze like.
Yo, he's gonna drop the best.
I can't hear
Hey,
y'all
look,
either.
man, y'all need to. Y'all need to yeah.
Are you back with us, Thomas?
What's that noise?
Can't hear us.
Train. Sound like a train.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like his
it does.
background.
Y'all hear me yet? Nothing?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
I can't
yeah.
hear you guys.
You can't
No.
hear us?
Call it.
Let me try to refresh this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call it. Okay, no doubt.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what happened? I just realized. So I have this thing that cleans my Mac every night at 7:20.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It kicked on and then turned my mic off. Okay, where did I
Oh,
leave off?
data.
Data.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was probably doing all this.
Yeah, it was like data, you know, and then it cut off.
Okay,
It was
did
one
you
of
guys hear
these.
when I
It
talked
was
about
one of these.
MailChimp?
Yeah, we heard that.
MailChimp, exactly.
Okay, free
Yes.
service in the beginning. It's your currency, okay? A distribution channel for you guys to give away your resources for free that allows for you to collect data and tips. Noise Trade.
Oh
Okay?
yeah.
Noisetrade.com. You simply go to noisetrade.com, sign yourself up as an artist, give them your PayPal email address, begin giving away free music, collect data, and perhaps get tip money. Okay? So this is all assuming that you guys have crafted a really good product, 3 to 6 songs that you spend a little bit of money on to record, mix, master, and then perhaps packaging a cover or whatever. But you're not printing any physical CDs, right? There's no need to print physical CDs at this point, right?
Right.
It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money at this introductory level, right? So MailChimp works in conjunction with Noise Trade, okay? So as you give away free music on Noise Trade, you are going to be exporting your database on a monthly basis, right? From Noise Trade, and you are going to dump those emails into MailChimp, okay? And it's very simple. You can YouTube how to do it. It's dumb simple, right? Now you can begin to send emails to all of your prospective consumers, right? Your fans, if you will, right? Fans is kind of a weird word because you're in the Christian hip-hop market, but it is what it is, right? So MailChimp, Noise Trade, 2 very free resources. Couple questions? I see a hand. Is that a question?
No.
I have a question.
Okay.
I've heard you, I guess, talk about burning the physical copies, and that's one thing that I've always respected about Humble Beast, the duel that you'll sell an album in and give it away for free. But I also I hear you, I guess, focusing more about physical copies as opposed to digital downloads for selling. How do you feel about an artist? I understand, I guess, when you're beginning as an artist, most artists in any realm, whether it's Christian hip hop or secular hip hop, actually increase their market by giving away free projects. Is how they market. At what point do you think you should start selling albums? And I guess in the I guess hyper internet, I think it's rare that people buy physical copies these days anyway.
Yeah, they do. But they don't buy it. They buy it at your shows.
Right.
Exactly. Immerse tables is where you get most of the.
Yeah, because and again, this is marketing language, right? And so marketing language says that there's impulse buy, right? Folks come to your shows, they want to support you, right? The most tangible way that they can support you is A, to pay to come to a show, and then B, to purchase something at your merch table. Are you guys hip to FOMO?
No.
Okay, FOMO just means fear of missing out, right? It's huge, huge in the culture, right? So folks, that's why Instagram is so popular, right? Because what Instagram does is it puts on display all of these things that people are doing. It creates this response like, well, I don't want to miss out on that. I want to be a part of that. It has established a fear of missing out in our culture, right? So people come to shows, they want to come and experience it. The more people will come to shows than buy physical goods from an online store, right? What is unique to the person who does come to the show, especially if you are promoting generosity, you've given away your free records, and you have your goal is to minister, right? These people want to support you. That's how they support. They come to your shows, they purchase products, they'll purchase shirts, all those things. So there is room for physical goods, right? I'm not saying never sell physical goods. I'm saying that phase 1 does not require for you to create physical goods, right?
Yes, I don't know if I if I asked my question, I was more correctly. I was more focused on as far as selling albums, digital distribution like iTunes. iTunes as far as
Yeah.
Amazon Prime or whatever. Rap.
Yeah.
Hear
Yes.
all of those.
Phase 2, when you complete your record, right? So you have phase 1, which is like your introductory record, right? This helps you to establish some influence, right, and some social capital. Phase 2 is when you drop a more aggressive record because you now have a little bit of capital, or you can even do a full record in the beginning depending on where you're at, right? The reason for putting records up on digital retailers, I can give you the reason why Humble Beast did it. Initially, had nothing to do with making money off that record. Putting records up on iTunes and other digital retailers had everything to do with telling consumers what we're giving you is not junk, right? You drive down the street, you see a sofa on the side of the road that says free. What do you think? It's whack.
It may or may not be, yeah. It may or may not be
I
quality.
think it got bed bugs.
It got rained on, yep.
Right? No, nobody wants it. It has no value to it. That's why they're giving it away for free.
Right.
So what we did is we wanted to let these folks know what we have is not junk, right? So we put it on iTunes simply to create perceived value. So you could go to iTunes and you could buy this on iTunes for $9.99, or you can come to humblebeast.com and you can get this $9.99 value as a gift from us to you because we want to give it to you, right? So it's perceived value. It establishes a certain amount of credibility with your good, right? So that's simply what it is. Now, what we didn't know in the beginning of Humble Beast was that by giving away music for free and putting it up on iTunes to create perceived value, we failed to recognize that most of the support for what we were doing, people recognized, well, I could support by buying the record, right? If I buy the record, then that can tangibly support these dudes who are out doing ministry. We never thought about that. We didn't put it up for that reason. And so what happened is this trend began to happen where when we would release a record, we'd have a few people purchasing the records on digital retailers, but we'd have a massive amount of free downloads, right? And then about year 2, the scales kind of evened out, right? Where there was the same amount of folks who were buying records as were downloading, right? Or the same folks who were downloading felt, man, I'm just going to go buy it even though I've downloaded it for free because I want to support, right? I think that's something unique and special that is the byproduct of radical generosity, right? So that's why I'm always an advocate of creating this content and giving it away for free, and let especially for those folks who value what you do from a ministry standpoint, who say, you know what, I rock with this dude's content, this or this girl's content, right? I rock with it. I resonate with it. I see that what they're doing is speaking to a culture at large who need to hear the gospel, right? I want to support what they do. I want to fan the flame, and so this is how I can tangibly support. It creates this ethos of generosity from creator to consumer, right? So that's, to me, like the greatest means of establishing a support system for you guys, right? You have to think in all realistic terms. If you set out to make records and think that I'm going to sell records and that's going to be my primary means of capital for me, that's going to be my primary revenue stream is selling records, you don't understand the music business right now. It will not happen for you, right? That happens for 2-3 dudes right now in the Christian hip-hop world that are in God's providence placed in a unique position, right? That is not the majority. The majority of Christian hip-hop artists are bivocational, right? They're just bivocational. And what I mean by bivocational is that they don't just make their money off record sales. It's a 3-legged stool, right? So yes, they push their records and they try to monetize off their record, but they have to tour, right? They have to be touring. If you're not touring, you're not going to have sustainability, right? And then 3, you have to find unique ways to merchandise, right? Because you have to sell goods. A, because the people who love your music want to support you in that endeavor, and they want unique ways to fiscally underwrite what you're doing. And 2, they just want to rock with you, right? I go to a concert, I go see Andy Mineo, and I'm trying to support Andy Mineo, right? I'm gonna buy an Andy Mineo shirt because I like what he does, and I understand his unique position as an artist. And when I buy his shirt, I am helping support his ministry, right?
Right.
That's just the reality. And so, if you want to have sustainable, traditional music, then this is what you have to do: a 3-legged stool: good product, touring, and merchandising. And so, the good product that you give away for free helps you to collect data, which now enables for you to tour, right? How do you tour? How do you get shows? Well, the traditional way was, I'm just going to hit up a bunch of venues and see if they'll book me as a no-name artist, right? The chances of that happening is very slim, right? But we live in a unique space and time right now, right, where you can collect data and you can go book a venue, or you can hit up a church and say, hey, I have a database because I've been collecting zip codes. You can go to a website called Free Zip. What is it? Let me hold, please. Hold, please. Find it. It is called, let's see, Free Map Tools. freemaptools.com. Here's what you do. You put in the city that you're going to perform in, that you've connected with a church or a coffee shop or a local place that's going to let you come out for free, and you're going to just sell tickets using another free service called Eventbrite. See, I'm giving you all the free stuff. This doesn't cost you any money, right? Free zip code. That tool is free. Eventbrite is free. You simply put in the zip code, and you do a 50-mile or 100-mile radius with that zip code. And that's going to pull up in MailChimp everybody who is 100 miles from that show. You're going to shoot them an email, and you're going to say, hey, Friday night, I'm in your city. Come support, right? You have 50 people come out to that show. 50 people coming out to a show, spending $10 to come to a show. You've made $500. You know how long it would take for you to make $500 off selling CDs? Realistically, right?
Yeah.
That's how you tour. Now, here's where you take it to the next level, right? You invest in some merch, like some t-shirts and physical CDs, right? And you can do that low cost. It's not super expensive. You can do short runs, and offline I can send you guys an email of companies that will do short run CDs for you, a company that will print shirts at a fairly reasonable cost, right? You do that, now you have 50 people showing up to your show who've paid $10 to come see you at a show. You've made $500. If you can market to 10% of those 50 people and sell a T-shirt or a CD, now you've been able to go from $500 to now about $850, right? You do that 3 times a month, you're a vocational rapper. You're a full-time artist. So you're making money from tips and money that you've made from digital retailers. You're making money from doing these shows. You're making money from selling merch, right? All these things are helping you to develop a sustainable revenue as an artist. And if you don't do the 3-legged stool, then that's okay. I would just discourage you to not try and pursue music full time, right? And that's fine, right? We have artists on our label who are not full-time artists, right? They work a 9-to-5 job. They put out music. They save up money. They record a great record. They put it out and they give it for free, and people enjoy that, and that's their ministry, right? And there's a difference. Your full-time job takes care of your family dynamic, takes care of all of your needs that you have financially, and your music is just a contribution that you're doing to serve others with, right? I don't make a distinction between those two people. I don't see that one is better than the other. I would just say that if you're pursuing it vocationally as your job, These are some things that you need to think through as you begin, right? Because you can't do this for 3 years and then realize, oh man, I should have been collecting data. I should have been collecting data this whole time. I didn't do it. Well, now I got to start from square one. Well, now you're starting at 0, and you have to build up your data equity to begin to tour. And if you're not touring, you don't have any sustainability. That makes sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Facebook will also allow you to geolocate your fans, right?
Yep.
You can do that on Facebook. All these things are free ways for you to engage your market, your audience, right? And it all starts by setting up a free thing on MailChimp and giving away free music on NoiseTrade.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm taking up all of the questions, and I don't mean to be.
It's all good.
I want to ask for your advice for. I would like to do music full time. I think I'm in a unique position because I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, but I only get out here every couple of months because I actually stay in Texas. I stay in Abilene, Texas.
Okay.
I work full time. I work a 9 to 5. I work full time. I'm in grad school as well.
Wow.
And I'm married and I have a 6-month-old. And
Congrats, man.
Yeah, in grad school.
I think it's congrats, bro.
What I'm wondering is how do you transition into, because for me, booking where I live in Abilene, Texas. Actually, there's no hip hop community. There's none of that. I'm out there kind of by myself, and I've connected with some of my homies in Dallas, and I've been out there in Dallas. I'm actually doing my first show in Keller this weekend, but it's not something I do regularly as far as being able to book shows. But I put out an EP, I guess, I don't know, a couple of months ago.
Okay.
And I did. It was the first thing I ever put on iTunes. And I guess it sold well enough, I guess, for me, that I felt like I could keep doing that.
Yeah. Did you see like a cliff? Was it like good when you dropped it, and then like a slam of like very little money? So it was a decent amount, your first digital check, and then
certainly around that. Yeah, I would say for the first 2 months it was about even, and then it just started kind of tethering.
Yeah, that's the nature of digital. You know, you're gonna put out a record, you're gonna build all of this hype around a record. A lot of people are gonna generate some interest. It's gonna make a decent amount of money, but let me give you some caution, right? That's not normative. That big capital that comes in when your record first drops, that doesn't stay consistent, right? So that's why the record sales alone won't cut it for you, because you have to be doing, you know, you might get good revenue for 2 months, and then that's going to significantly drop, and it's only going to taper down. So the only way to keep that up is by continuing to put out more products, more records, but then you oversaturate yourself and you begin to devalue your brand. Less and less people buy your records because they're like, this dude puts out records all the time, right? So you have to do a record, but in conjunction with the record, if you want to do it full time, you have to begin to think about touring. You have to think about merchandising. You have to begin to think about.
What do you think is best for me to make that transition? For,
So,
I guess, my unique situation.
There's 3 things I tell people, right, in terms of whether you decide to jump into doing this full time. I think there's 3 things that you can know, and I think the same thing exists for preachers, right? I think there's 3 components. Internal compulsion, right? Do you feel like you desire to do this full time, right? You don't feel that, you shouldn't do it, right? But if you feel this internal compulsion to do music vocationally full time, then that's one thing. The second thing is external affirmation, right? Other folks around you who, some folks that do know you, trust you, love you, care about your wife and your family, all those things, they're affirming you. Dude, you should do it, right? And objective people too, people that aren't connected with you, not your best friends, your homeboys that just think you're like the best hip-hop rapper alive, right? Because they're your homeboys. But people outside of your immediate sphere of influence, I say, dude, you actually got some chops. You should consider doing this full time. And then the third component, which is the most important, is providential opportunity. Do you see God opening up doors for you to pursue it full time, right? And until those three things are connecting for you, you ought use some discernment before you dive in, right? That's what I would say. That's what we say to our artists who are kind of on the fence. And some of these cats are just resolved to say, you know what, dude, it's just not my deal, right? I'm not trying to be a full-time rapper. I want to rap because I love rhyming and I love making much of Jesus through music. I think it's a great resource and a great tool, but I don't have the external affirmation. My wife particularly is not saying you should quit your job and pursue this full-time, right? For those who are married, your spouse is going to speak a great amount of wisdom to you in that regard, right? If your wife co-sign, that's a done deal for you, right? It's for you, it's not an option, and I think that's God's providence, right? God speaks most clearly about his providence through your spouse, right? So those three things, man, are those variables, and it differs from person to person, right? One person has 7 kids, and they have 7 children, and they have a house payment. For you, it's a bigger cost, right? There's a lot on the table. If this doesn't crack for you, then there's a lot at stake. Another person has enough money in the bank, and wife is like, yo, we don't really got nothing going on right now for like a year. Let's just try it and see what it does. I love you enough to see if God opens up the door in ministry for you, right? And those things do exist. But the dynamics are different from person to person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ought to be praying, man. Every artist ought to be praying. God, you know, this is something that you've burdened me with. You obviously have given me the talent to do it. You've given me a voice. Make your path known for me. Make clear your ways. I want to do this, but I don't want to do this if this is not what you have for me. And I think so many folks think that to be successful in ministry, you have to be a full-time rapper and you have to be huge and famous, right?
Right.
But that's not ministry success. Ministry success is being obedient to what God has called you to do. So for some folks, rhyming in your neighborhood, using the tools that God has given you as a resource to disciple men and encourage men is the greatest ministry success you will ever have, right? And so you have to be reconciled to that, right? And that actually cuts through a lot of your own personal agendas, right? Why do you want to do it, right? Do you want to do it because you think that it's a great resource, it's a great tool, and God could use it? And if so, then to whatever degree he chooses to use it is all good with you. But if you're like, nah, I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make this work. I'm just trying to make this crack. Then that's a whole nother issue, right? Then your motives are all entangled with that. Does that make sense?
That's dope.
Yeah. It's good, man.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
For me, like maybe personally, where do I go from where I'm at? I just released the EP March 31st, entitled God Glorified, and I put it out for free, and God began to open up doors, and I've just recently got added to this Gemstones tour, and so going back to what you said as far as oversaturating like the people with music, how often should I hit the scene with music? Like how often should I be putting music out?
Yeah. Well, I think that's relative, right? I think it's relative, but I think if it were me, if I were making a decision for one of my artists, right, I would say that doing more than 2 records a year is way too much, right? If you do more, I would say if you put out an EP and a full-length record in 1 year, you're good, right?
Okay.
You do 2 full lengths in a year, I think the perception is the first record was not good enough, right? And so that actually has a negative impact on your brand, right? This is why I tried to stress it in the beginning. Your aim should be make the most excellent product you can, right out of the gate. If you're gonna make a product, save a little bit of dough, make something that is amazing, so that folks can resonate with it. You don't have to worry about making another record that year. You can put out the record and let that record get some legs for you. So in your situation, you're getting ready to do a tour, right? You're doing what I think is one of the essential things for an artist, and that's piggyback marketing, right?
Okay.
Trying to get on with other dudes who have a little bit more market share, and not that you're exploiting or taking away from them, but that you're serving them, right? You're going on a tour with them, and you're opening up. Be gracious. Be thankful. Find unique ways to serve them. Set up the merch table. Help them, right? Serve them because they're taking you on a tour, and they're going to identify like, yo, this dude is solid. We like working with this cat. We're going to bring him on the next tour, right? And really, that's Christianly, right?
Right.
These dudes bringing you on the road with you, and you serve them, and you love them, and you're expressing your gratitude for them doing that. Do it, right? Your trajectory's set. Now, what you need to focus on is how can you collect the data from this free EP that you gave away, right? So now you jump on this tour with Gemstones, right?
Right.
How many people downloaded your record, your free EP?
I can't gauge that. So I know I didn't do Noise Trade. I did a exclusive with Rapzilla, and I don't have their database. But I was told from another owner of a blog spot that it got over like 2,000 on his. He's like, so if we got 2,000 on mine, you're probably looking at 30 to 40 on Rapzilla. But it did get a lot of traffic because I don't know, but Rapzilla showed a lot of love. They made it the feature on their site, and so it could have did good, but I'm not sure about the numbers.
Yeah, you need to take your EP and you need to put it on Noise Trade, brother. You know, you need to put it on Noise Trade, or you need to find a medium in which you can collect your data, right? Other people are getting that data, right? You need that data. Right, so that should be something that you guys should take note on, right? You put it up on a website. They're getting all of your data, all of your resources, all of what's essential for you to generate sustainability. Because if you did get 20,000, let's just say 20,000 downloads, right? Free downloads, which is really hard to do, I might add. To get 20,000 people to download a record is very, very difficult. Right, but if that is the case, now you're jumping on this tour with Gemstones. You could have sent emails out to all the folks in those regions where you're doing shows. You could have had folks coming out to see you perform and support you. You could have sold CDs to them. You could have sold T-shirts to them. You could have just established relationship. Hit them up, stay after the show, and engage with them. Right? I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Beautiful Eulogy show. Probably not. But when we do a show, we stay after the show. 98% of the time, unless we're sick or something like that, and we engage with these folks. These folks came, they paid to see a show. They're supporting our ministry, and so we minister to them in that capacity. That's what makes the difference between a rapper and a minister, right? You engage with those people. Now you're establishing relationship with these people, right? It's vital that you do that. You have to have your data, bro. So I would say as soon as you can, you need to put that stuff up on Noise Trade or something similar, something where you can guarantee that you're going to be able to export those emails with zip codes. Zip codes is the key.
Okay.
When I say data, I mean zip codes and email together.
So I got a question too.
Yes.
So just talking about like,
Wait.
even before.
One second. Milton, do you have merch for this?
Yes, I will have merch for the tour.
Smart.
Well, actually, just physical CDs.
Okay. Why not do some shirts? You'll make money. You make a larger margin of profit on T-shirts than you will CDs, especially if the downloads people already got.
Okay, so I guess my issue was just not coming up with something corny, and I wanted to push God glorify, but I guess I just didn't know how that would look on a shirt, GG or whatever. So I kind of just stayed away from it.
Yeah, well, I would encourage you to think about it, man. Obviously, you don't have corny raps, right? You don't, and you're concerned about it being corny, so that's a good thing. Most people aren't concerned with putting out corny shirts. right? So you're already thinking in the right vein, right? So just take a little bit of time, man. Let that marinate. I would say to you that a great resource for you and for the folks that come out to shows, for them to be able to support you. They want to support you. You should have some notes, bro, more than just the CD. Just be thinking about that critically. And we'll get back to the other question. But I just want to make sure, man, you're getting ready. You're like on a trajectory that's going to be beneficial for you. Have an iPad at the table, bro, where you're collecting emails, right? Sign up for my e-newsletter. Get exclusive singles that I'm going to drop, right? You sign up on my e-newsletter, from time to time, I'm going to make a free song. I'm going to give it to you via email, right?
Right. Okay.
MailChimp has an app that will allow for you at your merch table to just have this form where you can type, they can type in their email and their zip code, hit enter, and boom, it's just an app. It's a free app. You're just collecting data. So, yeah, bro. Okay, sorry to cut off, brother. I didn't mean to do that, but just wanted to make sure I got that out of my head.
Yeah, for sure. And then my question or comment question type thing. So it's kind of like Keyshawn, I'm kind of like you in the same kind of boat. Doing my masters, so I'm kind of working at the same time. Got my wife, stuff like that. And so my focus is kind of working, providing for the family and stuff like that. Me, I'm having an issue just trying to, not be lazy about my craft and things like that. As far as like promoting, like I don't promote. I got my guys. We have a collective and some ladies as well that of poets and rappers called Rooted Society out of Milwaukee. We're the only like thing in Milwaukee as far as like Christian hip hop, pretty much. And so we're kind of like trying to get on that boat of getting out there. I don't have anything on iTunes. Like I'm really like fresh. Like I don't have nothing. So we're just trying to look for ideas to get promote ourselves for people to know us. I'm taking all these notes.
Yeah.
But are there there are other things that we could be doing?
Yeah. And I think those are great questions to ask. And I do think that there are other ways to promote yourself as an artist, right? But I would say first and foremost, your greatest promotional resource is going to be a good product, right?
Yeah.
So you don't spend money on other marketing resources or other marketing ventures, because if the product is not great, all the other resources, it's like all the other things are caveats.
Right.
Product. Everything else is going to serve to amplify like your record or your EP or your product, right? If the product is not excellent, then all these other things are just going to amplify a mediocre record, right? So your energy, your focus, and your time should be laboring to create a great record. Great. Why do you think you guys are in this chat right now?
The product we put out.
The product you put out.
Mm.
You guys put out, this opportunity came, you guys saw advantage, you guys took advantage of the opportunity, you threw something out there, and you guys, it was good product. It was a good product. Something about having excellent product causes for folks to rise to the top, right? To rise to the, not saying, rise to the top, but I'm saying, like it speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
So you guys continue to do what you're doing in terms of continuing to craft a great product, and it's going to speak for itself, right? Even if you're doing stuff locally, you're doing a show in Keller, Texas, right? Keller, Texas is a great area to do a show. Texas is like the biggest Christian hip-hop region in America, right? Don't know that? If you do shows in Texas, that's where all Christian hip-hop do.
Funny story. Funny story. Sorry, quick funny story. Actually, I think you guys were supposed to perform at that show with us, and you got double booked.
Oh, in Keller?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be in like 3 weeks or so. So, yeah, Texas is on the agenda like twice a year, right? So yeah, you just put out great product, and you collect data, and you keep people in the loop, and people are gonna ride with it. They are, right? People like Andy Mineo, people like Lecrae, because they put out amazing products, right? It wasn't that like Lecrae and Andy were like, I say Lecrae like he just had like an amazing marketing plan and he was a mediocre rapper. No, he's an amazing rapper, right? And everything he does is great. It's excellent. And so you have something like that. It takes very minimal amplification to take something great and put it out there. It's very minimal. And I'm sure, Milton, you experienced this when you put it on Rapzilla, right?
Yeah.
Why do you right now have an opportunity to tour with Gemstones, and why did so many people draw interest to that song on Rapzilla, and why was it the featured song? Why?
Because of who Gemstones was. He was someone.
The quality of your music.
Quality, right?
The quality of your music, right? That's why it cut through. So yeah, one thing I'm trying to go through my notes here to make sure I have. You guys have any other questions? Because we're kind of coming to the end. I want to make sure I can help you guys as much as I can. Okay. One thing I did want to talk about, and I think this is hugely important in terms of the way you guys pursue marketing yourselves, right? I do think that there is social ethics, right? And I think a lot of folks don't. You have to be careful in how you market yourself, right? Especially because you're doing Christian hip hop, right? You want to make sure that the way you market yourself isn't in contrast to the Christian worldview, right? And I know you guys probably already know this, but you would be surprised at the way some people market themselves. It's almost like they want so bad to get put on that they dismiss everything associated with why they originally started doing rap, right? And so I just wanted to remind you guys that there is a priority in terms of what you do and why you do it. Make sure that as you promote and as you are thinking about the records that you're making and you're wrestling with the content and you're recording, and make sure that there's integrity involved in all those aspects of what you're doing, right? Because if there's not integrity in it, then the music is meaningless, right? If your character is shady and folks around you are like, yeah, this dude is so hungry that he has unethical practices, and really it just makes the gospel look bad, it makes you look bad, it makes Christian hip hop look bad. So as you move forward, I want to encourage you. You guys all are very talented, very gifted, and I don't see any reason why you guys would not have some fruitful music success. I just want to use this as a caution for you guys. Remember why you do what you do. And then secondly, don't become deceived in thinking that because you get 20 downloads, like you're like the illest, right? There is a reality. Christian hip hop is a very, 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 very small community of people, right? The Lecraes and the Andy Minios exist in a sphere that is most likely beyond any of us in this chat, right? The truth is, most of us are not going to experience this type of success that they have, and that's fine. You know, that's by God's design. But don't get so self-absorbed in this small little market that you begin thinking and acting and behaving in ways that are unethical to kind of sit at the top of this small little. It's just not worth it. Your character, to damage your character, your reputation, the name of Christ, all those things, nothing is ever worth that, right? Nothing is ever worth that. But just don't become so self-deluded in this small market. And that's just to maintain to help you guys maintain a posture of humility as you approach this record. Your identity is not rooted in how dope of a rapper you are and how great your product is. Your identity is rooted in Jesus Christ, and let that be the primary thing that motivates why you do what you do, right? All those other things, marketing yourself, all those things are really insignificant if you don't have that key component solidified. If you have a bend towards people-pleasing, then you become trapped in this snare. Hip-hop can be a snare for many people. I'll tell you this much. As you consider pursuing hip-hop as a vocation, there are so many folks whose marriages are a wreck because of it, right? Because they could not establish the priority of why they did what they did. Marriage is in shambles. They have a bankrupt church life because they're not concerned about establishing themselves in a local church. All these things, and I'm only saying this by way of encouragement because I said a lot of marketing stuff and a lot of systems and all those things, but I wanted to make sure that you guys understood. Man, the world in which rappers live in, they receive a lot of accolades. A lot of people tell them oh man, your raps are amazing. Your raps are great. I love what you do. I love what you do. And you have to make sure that you don't allow that to impact you in any negative way. You got to continue to go to Jesus and say, God, keep me humble. Keep me humble. Remind me of why I do what I do. And not your own fame. If you don't set that framework in the beginning, you set yourself up for failure. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
All right. Any last questions? Nathan, nothing.
I'm thinking, boy. I'm like,
All right, Lexi, I'm gonna try and connect with you. I'm gonna try and connect you with some folks in Vegas.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, and that doesn't, I'm just gonna try to connect you guys, and see what happen. See what happens.
Okay, sounds good.
Brian, you're muted.
He is.
There we
He's
go.
also very
All right.
still.
Hey, Thomas, thanks so much, man. Some good
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
everybody next week,
Was this
same
live?
time week. What's that?
Was this live?
It was live. We really promote it.
So
So,
awkward, bro.
what's that?
It's so awkward.
I'm awkward?
No, this whole experience. I was
Oh.
hoping it was just gonna be us privately, but that's all right.
There's only a few people watching it outside, so
Okay.
it's all good.
Hey, you guys are great. I'm excited to see you guys at Legacy. I think this will be great. Come talk to me at Legacy, right?
For
Are
sure.
all you guys are going, right?
Yeah, I'm in there.
yeah.
We in there. Yeah.
I'm gonna wear my Humble Beast tee.
Yeah. Yeah. There'll be some Humble Beast guys there, so come say hi to me and we'll have some coffee.
Hey, I'll be getting those
Tea.
emails.
Can we do
The
tea?
coffee.
'Cause I don't drink coffee.
I need some tea. I need some tea.
I'll have coffee, you have tea. Be all good.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
See y'all.
Where's Brother 3 at? Milton Taylor, right?
Right here. Yep.
Yo, I'm excited. I didn't know that I was like, oh wait, that's the same guy from Legacy. So I'm really excited to rock the stage with you on the 13th, man.
Oh wow, yeah. So we are in Vegas on the
Yes.
13th. Yeah, I'm excited. That's what's up. That's what's up. Link up with me on social media. Let's build.
All right, for sure. I'll do that.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.
All right, y'all.